Hey guys, welcome to a new 100-second tutorial. Today we talk about the depth of field and how it affects your image. Let's go. So guys, what is depth of field? Depth of field is the distance between the closest and the farthest object in frame that appears acceptably sharp, okay? You can control the depth of field by changing your aperture, okay? When you shoot in a high aperture at around f1.8, you will have a narrow depth of field, okay? So you have a lot of bokeh and the background as well as the foreground will be blurry. But if you shoot in a low aperture at around f22, so the aperture will be closed, you will have a large depth of field, okay? So the background and the foreground will be sharp. What's also affecting your depth of field is the focal length of your lens, okay? When you shoot on a wide-angle lens, for example, at around 14 millimeters, wide-angle lenses have a small focal length, okay? So that means that they have a large depth of field. On the other hand, when you shoot on a telephoto lens, that lens you know from football games, for example, they have a large focal length, and that means that they have a narrow depth of field, okay? So the background as well as the foreground will be very blurry, okay? And the last point that affects your depth of field is the size of your camera sensor. You will have a narrow depth of field on a full frame sensor, but on the same lens, a large depth of field on a micro four thirds sensor, okay? So keep that in mind when buying a new camera and you consider which camera should I buy, also the camera sensor, okay? But what depth of field should you use for filming? And that's really up to you, okay? It depends on your creativity, on the shot you take. For example, in this shot, this was a part of a short film we did last year. We chose a very narrow depth of field because it created tension in the frame, okay? So yeah, hope you learned something and you have an idea what depth of field is and how to use it. And see you in the next video. Bye.